Welcome to the Only Roofers podcast. My name's Elizabeth, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Martin Pettigrew from Monarch Roofing. Welcome. Did I pronounce your last name properly?
Well, we just talk about this a little bit. I mess up everything I'm saying, so I'll never hold anybody accountable for how they pronounce my name. But it's Martin Pettigrew, but in French it's Martin Pettigrew. Alors, it doesn't matter.
I won't even try that one. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your idea behind your last book. Actually, what made you sit down, get a pen, paper, laptop, and actually start your book?
It's a great question. We say we're obsessed with our customer. So trying to build everything around that mindset for Monarch Roofing, and then find ways to give back to a great community. You know, roofing industry does not have to be so difficult. There's a lot of new companies that are going into the industry, but they don't last, and that's a terrible statistic. We pride ourselves to take the con out of contractor. So I said, what can I do to really stop talking about it and do something about it? So we decided to write the book and share what's been working for us, the revolution at Monarch Roofing in the last 3 years, how we went from 17 to 25 to $40 million in sales through this roofing machine mindset, with improving all the recruiting, training, and through the positioning of the employees, and revolutionize our industry. So our business anyways.
One thing that happens is people don't just become an obsessive type personality to be able to, we're obsessed with customer service, right? With our customer, with clients. So where did your obsession first start, right? What's the first thing you ever got obsessed about?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm obsessed now, and this is great.
No,
okay, so
I want the first one.
Okay, well, first one.
Could have been when you were a kid, in school, what was it?
Okay, so that's what popped in my head, okay? So I'll tell you, I remember when I was 7 or 8 years old, I was playing baseball, and they had like the little cards, which makes no sense, okay? You know, like you can sell something, you have a win-win situation.
Yeah.
This was a win for me only situation, okay? So we had to raise money for a baseball team, and they had these little cards that had little squares. It's probably like, let's say 50 squares, and you had to get the homeowner or somebody to scratch off, and they would give you money for what they scratch off. So it sounds like, hey, I'm going to scratch off and win something, but everybody lost. They would all give me money. So when you scratch off,
a French thing?
I don't know. I never seen that again. That was the only time. So that was my first time of, I guess, selling or doing something that was out of the ordinary. But it was cool because it created like a different mindset, because it was raising money for my team and also get baseball hats. So the more you sold, the more baseball hat you would get. And I was not poor, but we didn't have much money at all. So that meant so much to me, because I never had a nice baseball hat. So I'm like, wow, I can get so many baseball hats. If I sell 5 cards, I can get 50 hats.
Wow.
So I got creative, go door to door, which I never thought, like people say, I don't do door to door. I'm like, oh no, I was doing door to door when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And going in malls and waiting for people to go through the mall so I could stop them. I got kicked out a few times.
That was my first sales
yeah?
job.
No way. So to stop them and so I can ask them to scratch off. And the best, you want to hear what my best strategy was?
Yes,
I
would love to hear.
Okay, maybe door to door. I don't know if that works, but this is what I did. I would kind of insult them. I learned that from Tom, okay? So it was a lady coming in, I say, hey, mister, can I? And he'd be like, what? It would get their attention right away. So I would say what they were not, and it worked every time. And you can't say no to a kid that's trying to,
Yeah, if it's a missus, oh, mister, yeah, I get it. Mine was, I would look at the person, I would profile them, I'd be like, oh, you're from whatever XYZ country. So I would try to guess their country as they're walking by, and most of the time you get rejected. Like, I would get rejected because I'm just over here trying to sell stuff. But so once you developed that, okay, I can be obsessed about something and I can win. Before Monarch Roofing, what was the first big win you had in between the baseball cards and Monarch Roofing?
Golf was really why I'm here. Really got lucky.
Golf?
Just listening to Jesse Itzler, it was a very emotional speech. So it reminds me of hard times. He mentioned something about his kid and reminded me of me a little bit. So I played golf. I was 12 years old. I was really good, but I just started. Yeah. And it was an opportunity to play golf it's a state school, and I won't bore you all the details, but it was only school during the morning. We play golf every afternoon, and the opportunity to play golf in the United States a month a year. So I really wanted to play in that team. So I went and qualified, but what I found out after is I was the last kid picked. Out of 22 kids, I was the 22nd one. So that changed who I am now, because I would not be here if I didn't get picked last to be on that team, to move away when I was 13 years old, to move to play golf and got a scholarship to play golf at St. Francis University. NCAA Division I was my dream, and then moved to Myrtle Beach and started this roofing company. So it's all little thing that sometimes don't realize, but jump on the opportunity. Don't be, you talk about this, you went to see AT yesterday behind the scene. Oh my God, you blew my mind. But, we're all courageous. We just are compliant with rules and things that we do.
Imaginary rules. I love to hear this story because it's so interesting, right? I didn't want us to have a podcast that's like everything else out there. I love hearing the story. Think about that feeling you had as being picked 22nd, right? How does that translate? How does that inspire you today? Or is that just something you had like completely almost unappreciated up until now that you get this brought up? Like, how close do you hold that to your heart in your success currently?
Yeah, waste no pains. Don't waste no pain. So every time an opportunity to hear something or a challenge, I take it deeply to myself. But right now, one that I can't get over or will never end, because people say like, oh, you should have a goal. Your goal is, let's say, I want to do 1 million in sale this year. Well, when you get to 1 million, do you stop or what happens?
Exactly.
So I don't want to do that. I'm like, but since I'm an immigrant, I got an opportunity to be here in this awesome country. I love America. My wife always speaks on me. She's like, you're the most American Canadian in the world. Like, you're so committed. So I feel like I have a duty to give back to our community, to everybody I touch, to be very intentional with my activities, to do something special here, because I feel like I owe everybody that's been here before. We have a lot of veterans that work with us, and when they tell me stories about war, it blows my mind. And what I can do, I'm not doing much, but what I can do, I'll do everything I can to make a difference.
How is your day-to-day interactions with your employees? Because you have a pretty big team now. I'm sure you don't get to spend as much time with them as you'd like. How do you still keep that closeness with them and still get to hear their stories and everything?
Great question. So 4 years ago, we started 2 other locations, Hilton Head and Wilmington, and we're in Myrtle Beach, of course. And then when we started this, I was really on day-to-day activity in Hilton Head. So it took me 2 years to get out of it. So I could finally work on the business for about 6 months, and then it failed. So I had to go back to Hilton Head. Myrtle Beach was stable, Wilmington was stable. So I've been working really hard closely with the entire team, every day, every morning, all day. And I took a pledge to not do anything activity with like homeowners unless I had somebody with me, so I can teach somebody whatever I can from my activities. But since December 7th, right before the roofing process, I have a general manager for all 3 locations again. So I'm not really in the day-to-day for Monarch Roofing as much. I'm mostly on the day-to-day with Riva, the coaching company. So that's where I spend most of my time, and it's 7 people. So we meet every day close together and
you're building your next dream. So how did you find your next dream, right? Was it through past experiences? Was it something you've always dreamed of? How did you find this next dream that you're after now?
Well, I think everybody falls into it a little bit, but with time it comes clear. So we are passionate about our customers who say you deserve the best.
Obsessed.
Obsessed with our customer. So again, talk is cheap. I'm like, okay, it's really hard we're going to go do a franchise. We started the process almost 3 years ago. But then we decided after the 3 locations, like, there's got to be a better way to do this to impact more people. I think the impact comes in from helping roofing contractors become more successful. So the coaching was more attractive to me to spread the word how to do business better instead of being selfish and being me to want to do more for my business. So I think that's going to be a different avenue, and I'm really like the roofing machine and our process. We have an online portal, so it's all the process and procedure of Monarch Roofing and how we do everything, really. So it's almost cheating.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about when you came to America, right? I'm sure that you were thinking, what on earth made you decide, I'm going to start a roofing company, I'm going to go be a roofer? Like, why? Why a roofing?
Okay, perfect, awesome, great question. I moved to Myrtle Beach, a dream of golf. So I was playing a lot of golf.
Yeah.
But I was making $6.90 an hour, Elizabeth, at the pro shop, and I was parking.
Not nothing.
Nothing. It was terrible. I couldn't pay my bills.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing like
it was
I'm
terrible.
laughing as in like, I get it. I've been there too. I've made $5 an hour before or less.
Yeah, you can do it's terrible. So I started working at night. So I started parking cars at night at a club, and then I would see these guys coming in
You as a valet.
Yeah. Oh, for years. Yeah, it was awesome. Great way to make money. So if you focus on money, I would probably still be there. And then I was parking cars. The guys had like nice F-250 diesel. They had Hummers. They were living the dream, really. They would stay up all night to party, and then they had a lot of money. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, who are these guys? What are they doing? Like, I'm so obsessed. I'm like, I can't barely pay my rent. So they were all contractors.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, you guys are 26, 27, 28, you're crushing it. And so I started asking questions like, how do you, it's 2007, how do you get up in the morning if you're here to 2, 3 in the morning? I don't know too much about roofing or construction, but you got to sun up to sun down. So they said, we don't care if we get up in the morning or we get fired from a job or if we lose it, because there's so much demand right now that we'll get another job. Like, wow, this is wrong.
Yeah.
That infuriated me. I'm saying, I got to take the con out of contractor. That mindset came from there. So I'm like, I became a crusader for average roofers.
So how did you even get into training? Because when I got into the industry in 2015, there was no training, right? And then my first experience with money was I was a waitress on in a yacht club in the beach in Key Largo, and people would come and tip me $100 on a beer just because they know. And I'm like, you're giving me $100? All I did was bring you a beer. So that was what turned me on to money. But then I found my sales job in roofing. So how did you go from parking the cars to deciding now crusader for average roofer? What was it? Where did you train? Where did you even train?
That's a great question. I didn't. I really learned by mistakes, and it's the wrong way. That's why I believe like it doesn't have to be this hard. I made it really hard on myself to learn because I didn't really have any avenue. I listened to people that surrounded me in my area, but nobody's really giving you right information in your territory. Your competition, they give you something. It sounds good, but it's not pure. Yeah. So 2013, I came to Utah actually. First time I came here for the Wealth Builder with GAF as a master elite contractor. I was a week or 2 weeks in as a master elite, and it changed my mind, my whole concept. Met Greg Willick. He's best roofing.
He's amazing. He's based out of South Florida.
Yes, you know him.
Greg Wallach, he's
Wallach,
amazing. He did half of South Florida's condos, flat roofing systems. They sponsor our highways.
Yes. But he doesn't know how much he impacted me because I got to call him back about this. But he gave me 30 minutes. And first of all, I saw him at South Lake, and then the book Good to Great. I read this, and he got
Good
so
to
many.
Great is one of my favorite books ever. It is that is my favorite. That's actually my most impactful book. Good to Great.
Awesome. Yeah, it impacted me so much, and his good heart. How his story with his school bus and how he got kids and how he gives back to the community. And like, I want to be like this. Really, it's very influential. So a few years later, he gave me 30 minutes on the phone, and that's where we started doing the training and hire a recruiter and hire a trainer. He was the mind opener for that. So surround yourself with people that are not in the industry or on industry but not in your market. Come into D2D, go in a roofing process or IRE next week, I think.
Best Roofing, if anyone's watching this video and you want to Google them, they are beasts. They are Monarch is amazing as well, but Best Roofing is like they are a league of their own. I look at everything they do and I'm always so impressed as well. And they sponsor our highways, so it's a great person to learn from, and you never know who you're impacting either. So that's almost your responsibility next too, right? You never know what guy you just met in the hallway here, who you're going to help change their life too. Because that's really what it's all about at the end of the day is building momentum by impacting others, right? So now you've gone from golf, from Monarch to Riva. Do you feel like there's something, like a set goal that you have to reach your potential where you'll feel good, or it's just endless? What is your mindset?
The duty is endless for sure. I'm comfortable where I am. I got personal goals all year and personal growth. That's very important to me. My family, of course, very, very important. So, but Riva, we're thinking about 50 states. How can we impact 50 states? So it never really ends. I want to impact as many people as possible. So.
Do you guys have a slogan?
That's a good question. Well,
we need a slogan.
Yeah. Well, I got one named this morning. I got named TJ McCormick.
Yeah. The world's greatest roofer. That's my friend.
Yeah. Okay. So he said I should name myself the Roofing Machine. So I got that. So that's it.
The Roofing Machine.
Yeah, that's a new name. So it's official now.
On Only Roofers First, the Roofing Machine. I love that. That is actually a great name for your slogans and everything. So that's amazing. What is your last tip to someone who's watching this video, right? You've overcame being an immigrant, learning an industry, learning how to make money, learning how to be successful. How what did you have to overcome? What was that mental challenge that maybe someone else may be having that you can give them some advice to help them work through it?
Okay, so I wish it would have happened before, but really when we went from 6 million to 13 million, I really put personal growth at first, even though I started, but personal growth of myself, but my team. So really unselfishly giving everything to key members of the team and really want them to become better than me profoundly. By doing this, it changed everything. Really, they're better than me, but when I'm teaching, helping people, I'm actually learning more because I got to study when I'm going to be preparing for the next day, I got to study it so I master it. So there's something special. Share the information, be pure, be intentional, but it's got to come from the God. And one more thing, if you don't mind.
Yes, go ahead.
I said we all built to survive, not to grow. We're all courageous. Don't be afraid to do something different. Don't comply, okay? The rules are meant to be broken or bent. So I really like what your mindset is. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, so yes, my mindset is there are no rules, really, honestly. And I would say that for you. There are no rules. As long as you're ethical, you're moral, and you're doing good, there are no rules on how you should do things. And there's literally nothing stopping between you and your next phase of life. And that's the same thing I have to say to everyone out there. The only rules and limitations are the ones we place on us and the mental blocks that we put up. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. This was amazing. Thank you for sharing the roofing machine. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the Only Roofers podcast, and stay tuned for the next one.